Hi folks, I'm glad you're here. Thank you very much for joining me. It is November 12th, 2024. I didn't hear about this, did you? It was on The Guardian and also on CBS News. An 81-year-old man in Montana was sentenced to 6 months in federal prison for illegally cloning and creating a giant hybrid sheep. An 81-year-old Montana man was sentenced on October 28th to 6 months in federal prison for illegally using tissue and testicles from large sheep hunted in Central Asia and the U.S. to create hybrid sheep for captive trophy hunting in Texas and Minnesota. Arthur Jack Schabarth was arrested for conspiring with 5 other people to use tissues and testicles from Marco Polo sheep that were illegally brought into the U.S. to make a larger hybrid sheep. The hybrid sheep were intended for captive trophy hunting in Texas and Minnesota. Marco Polo sheep are the largest in the world, weighing up to 300 pounds, and the cloning process created an even larger hybrid animal. U.S. District Court Judge Brian Morris said he had difficulty coming up with an approximate sentence for Schabarth. Morris considered Schabarth's age and the lack of a criminal record, combined with the need to impose a sentence that would stop others from trying to change the genetic makeup of the creatures on Earth. What do you think about this? Was he playing God? Was it all for greed? I don't know. Hybrid animals can often experience a myriad of health issues, including rapid growth and heart problems. That's according to the National Geographic. Another consequence of creating hybrid animals is the risk it poses to an endangered species. Marco Polo sheep are already under threat of extinction. Hybridization of them could further endanger the animal due to the genetic swapping, an occurrence in which the normal genetic makeup is replaced by the hybrid. Schabarth, who pleaded guilty in March, was fined $20,000, and the judge ordered him to pay $4,000 to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Foundation. The hybrid sheep have been confiscated by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and will be held until it can be transported to a zoo. Schabarth's attorney, Jason Holden, is seeking a probationary sentence. He argued that Schabarth was a hard-working man who has always cared for animals and did something that no one else could have done in cloning the giant sheep, which he named Montana Mountain King, or MMK. Schabarth sold semen from MMK along with hybrid sheep to 3 people in Texas, while a Minnesota resident brought 74 sheep to Schabarth's ranch for them to be inseminated at various times during the conspiracy. Court records said Schabarth sold 1 direct offspring from MMK for $10,000 and other sheep with lesser MMK genetics for smaller amounts. The total value of the animals involved was greater than $250,000, but less than $550,000. That's what prosecutors said. Hybrid sheep were also sold to people in Alabama, Arkansas, Kansas, Missouri, Nebraska, Ohio, Oregon, South Dakota, and West Virginia, prosecutors said. Sarah Brown, an attorney for the U.S. Department of Justice, asked for prison time. Brown cited Schabarth's illegal breeding operation was widespread and involved forethought and included many illegal acts. Brown also noted that Schabarth's crime endangered the well-being of other wildlife. This case amplifies the serious threat that wildlife trafficking poses to our native species and ecosystem, said Assistant Director Edward Grace of the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service of Law Enforcement, according to the U.S. Department of Justice. Mr. Schabarth's action not only violated multiple laws designed to protect wildlife, but also risk introducing diseases and compromising the genetic integrity of our wild sheep populations. Schubarth not only violated federal and state laws and international treaties, but he and others illegally conspired to conceal their actions from authorities. Assistant Attorney General Todd Kim of the Justice Department's Environmental and Natural Resource Division said in a statement, Schubarth owns Sun River Enterprise, LLC, a 215-acre alternative livestock ranch, which buys, sells, and breeds alternative livestock, such as mountain sheep, mountain goats, and ungulates, primarily for private hunting preserves, where people shoot captive trophy game animals for a fee, prosecutors said. He had been in the game farm business since 1987, Schubarth said. So Schubarth pleaded guilty in March to charges that he and 5 other people conspired to use tissue from a Marco Polo sheep illegally brought into the U.S. to clone that animal and then use the clone and its descendants to create a larger hybrid species of sheep that would be more valuable for captive hunting operations. Marco Polo sheep are the largest in the world and can weigh 300 pounds and have curled horns up to 5 feet long, court records said. The one image I have here is from a hunting expedition in Pakistan. In October 2019, court records said that Schubarth paid a hunting guide $400 for the testicles of a trophy-sized Rocky Mountain bighorn sheep that had been harvested in Montana and then extracted and sold the semen, court records said. His attorneys sought to reduce the restoration costs, saying Schubarth fed and cared for the hybrid sheep on his ranch until they could be slaughtered and then the meat donated to a food bank. The remaining hybrid sheep with Marco Polo DNA on his ranch must be sent to slaughter by the end of this year, with the meat also being donated. Morris said that Morris gave, this is the judge, Schubarth until December 2025 to sell his Rocky Mountain bighorn hybrid sheep. Schubarth will not be allowed to breed game stock during the 3 years he is on probation, the judge said. So why until next year to slaughter the extra sheep, the hybrid sheep? He's got another full year. Yeah, a little weird. So what are your thoughts? Put your comments down below. Thank you very much for watching. Please share. Please subscribe. And I'll talk to you later. God bless you. Bye.